stunning looks than swift.
How would you term that batting show by Sri Lanka in Pune? Let me try. You've taken your old car out, you've decided to go on a long trip, you say, first gear, okay, we're moving on. Second gear, and then suddenly the car spoils. You don't go beyond that second gear, because that's what you saw from the Sri Lankan batsmen in Pune. But if it was about Sri Lanka and their approach, you also have to applaud the way Afghanistan bowled in Pune. Looking very good, have set it up really well for a third win in this World Cup. Thank you so much for joining us on Maruti Suzuki Arena Presents ESPN Cricket for Match Day, as we're joined in studio by Steve Harmison and also by Farveez Maharoof from Sri Lanka. Where Afghanistan now, Steve? 243 is what they need to get their third win of the tournament. But really, just the way they started it off, you had mentioned it at the beginning as well, their first 10, everything came together.
Yeah, everything came together beautifully. I thought the way the lengths they bowled, the aggression they showed in the field, the pressure they put on the Sri Lanka batsmen, and it started with Mujib. Mujib bowled unbelievable in that power play.
Yeah.
But I think the captaincy of Afghanistan in this game,
yeah,
I think that really came to the fore, not only at the start, but in their middle over period, being able to keep Rashid Khan towards the end, really putting pressure on. And your description of the car going from sort of first to second,
yeah.
Every time it went to third, and every time it looked as though it was going into fourth, it went straight back down to second, because they took wickets at crucial times and really put Sri Lanka under pressure.
In terms of planning a good day, from Afghanistan's point of view, nothing changed. It was perfect because Mujib was not challenged, so you could see out Mujib till that 35th over, just see off all his overs, and then towards the end, use Rashid and really put that, that just don't let you score runs going forward.
Yeah, the squeeze was good. The squeeze was what you would expect a team like Afghanistan to have, because of the bowling unit they've got. I think, could Sri Lanka have took a risk and really sort of took a punt and threw a punch back and come down the wicket, use the field a little bit more and try and be a little bit more proactive, because it seemed as though they were dying in a hole a little bit, and then it was a big shot out of nowhere which got them in trouble. And I think Kusal Mendes was the big one, which he played the sweep shot, and we've seen in the previous 3 games that the sweep shot got him in trouble. So he's fighting with himself. I'm not going to play the sweep shot. I'm not going to play the sweep shot. He plays the sweep shot, gets off boundary, then puts it away for a while, and then tries to play it again and gets caught. And I think that was sort of symptomatic of the Sri Lanka innings across the whole 50 overs.
But would you hold it against him? Because he clearly, took his time on the pitch. He was slow, of course, but he was taking his time on the pitch. Once he got a little settled, then he went for his preferred shot.
I think that's his most preferred shot, and it has brought so much runs for Kusal Mendes. If you look at the first couple of games, as well as the 2 warm-up games, I mean, the runs he scored, at least 35% of the runs being scored playing the slog sweep or the conventional sweep. So 4 times for dismissals in the last 4 games, that's a bit of worry. I'm pretty sure that Kusal Mendes will be a bit mindful at least now, because I thought the ball was there to be played. And we speak about Afghanistan's bowling. I mean, how well they bowl in partnership. For example, the over before Kusal Mendes got out, there was 4 dot deliveries by Mohammad Nabi. The pressure was building. And when you need somebody to up the ante, and Kusal Mendes next over of Mujibur Rahman goes to the big shots and gets out. So that's a very good day for a bowling side. That's how I look at it, because just not about batting in partnership. Bowling in partnership is crucial when you have 3 good spinners in that team.
Farveez, about the approach of how Sri Lanka decided to approach this game, for that kind of an approach, 2 things come to mind. One is, if you're a batting unit that's low on confidence, then I can understand why you're doing that. And 2 is, if you're playing on conditions where it's tough to bat, so you take your time and then get going again. But neither of the 2 were really applicable in Pune today.
Absolutely not. I'm with you. I thought it was a beautiful batting pitch, and it's quite strange the intent what Sri Lanka showed up the order. I mean, Pathum Nissanka and Kusal Mendes, after the first wicket was gone, they made sure the partnership was built. But it's still, I would have loved them to be a bit more busier, take a calculated risk or 2, because I thought they could have been much more busy in that middle overs, especially Kusal Mendes. That's his natural game. And Pathum Nissanka, 4 innings, 4 half centuries, and 1 unbeaten in the last game, and this game as well gets a start. And you say that, when you're trying to build up a score and trying to defend a score, the top three has to get a start and going to get a good one and a big one. Whereas Pathum and Kusal got that start, but neither of them couldn't do it. So when you don't do that, most of the time you will fall in trouble against a spin attack, which comprises three quality spinners going around in the world. So I mentioned in my pre-show overs between 11 overs and 40th over.
Yep.
I think Afghanistan took 6 wickets in that period and just about 140 odd runs. I think that could be the game changer in this game.
I'm guessing the way it panned out, Steve, first 20 overs you're thinking, okay, this is the way they're playing. There will come that phase when you need to shift gears. What happens when you shift gears? And then you saw Mendes going out, and then it just, that decline just continued with it.
I think the apprehension in the batting unit and shifting gears was something that was so crucial for Sri Lanka. But I think that was largely down to the way Afghanistan were allowed to bowl. I think they bowl well, but I think they were allowed to bowl well. I said to you the other day, Sri Lanka beat England, but they didn't have to work hard to beat England. I don't think Afghanistan had to work too hard to bowl well on this very, very good flat surface.
Yeah.
You look at Nabi. Nabi bowled 6 overs. What he bowled 6 overs for 33. Didn't really turn many. Bowled relatively straight. Off spinner turning into you. Not many came down a track. Not many come to look to try and hit it over the top. Not many come to try and hit it through the field.
Yeah.
Or the rotation of strike wasn't there on either side, whether it was Nabi or it was Majib or it was Rashid Khan. So it was a little bit static, and then all of a sudden pressure builds up. 2 or 3 dot balls, big shot out, and then you're starting again, the process again. So I think from that point of view, I think that's the disappointing thing, is that I don't think Afghanistan had to work hard to bowl brilliantly on that surface. I think Sri Lanka helped them by some of the shot execution and also some of their decision making.
Just given the way this 50-over format is going, and you see that kind of drive and that impetus to score from ball one, you suppose we can still go back to that age-old way of playing 50-over cricket, where you're below par in terms of run rate, and you decide to change gears, and suddenly, from 4 you try going up to 6, and add up to what you've not done. Does that cricket still hold in this day and age?
Does in this World Cup, because of the surfaces that you're playing on. You look at the teams who are in the 1, 2, 3, and 4 slots. They've got somebody in that middle period who can change it. Henrik Klassen for South Africa, Glenn Maxwell for Australia. New Zealand have got a different way of going about it, but the likes of Darryl Mitchell and players like that can hit the ball over the rope, as well as Glenn Phillips. And India as well. You look at that middle period, that middle order. They're very, very proactive. They use their feet, and they know when to hit the boundary. Unfortunately, when Sri Lanka was looking to hit the boundary, the execution just wasn't there.
Yeah, Farveez, because I was looking at the stats, I think there's more than about 80 or 90 odd dots in that innings that we've seen today.
Not acceptable, isn't it? In a good pitch against a decent bowling lineup, but the pitch was playing perfectly fine, and when some of the shots were questionable, but that as I see it, how I see it is that it was built very nicely by the Afghanistan bowlers, how they set up, they had each other. Every batsman was targeted really well, and Sri Lanka and Afghanistan had played so much cricket in the last couple of years. They know inside out very well, so that's why I thought Mohammad Dami especially, he was just let himself into the groove, because there was no turn at all. He was just going through the overs, whereas one of the batters could have been a bit busier. At least a calculated risk here and there would have been ideal. And what that could have meant is, you get Rashid Khan coming pretty early and not, bowling too many overs to the middle order. So overall, I thought, Jonathan Trott and Afghanistan has got the tactical game on point against every Sri Lankan batter.
Yeah, the bowling was on point. Both Steve and, of course, Farveez in tandem, echoing something that you and I would also be feeling the same way. Fazal Farooqi, we were talking about him before this game. I think everyone was in unison saying, why when you've got someone like a Noor Ahmed? But clearly it's worked.
Yeah, it worked, a different angle. I thought he started really well. I think that's when you come into a game when the pressure's on a little bit and the question your players, and you've got an average of 79, and you're only playing because of the ground and you've not forced your way into the team.
Yeah.
There's pressure on you as a bowler to start well. And I thought he started brilliantly. I thought he got the ball to swing. I'm still not convinced that first one, LBW, was out, by the way. Still, yeah, I'm saying that as a bowler. I'm still not convinced, because naked eye, when I seen it, I thought, oh, that's close. But then when impact before the sort of the ball tracking had gone through, I'm thinking when it impacted, that looks like that's going down leg side. Yeah. The little bit of lady luck you get, and he deserved it because of the way he bowled, and I thought he bowled brilliantly towards the end there. Yorker was perfect, right on money, right on the end, and he deserved his 4 wickets coming into the game, averaging 79.
Yeah.
And then you get 4 for 34. Afghanistan's done that's twice now they've made a key change in their bowling attack in 2 selections.
It's worked.
And they've got 3 wickets and a 4 wickets. Both times have come in, so you can see they're doing the homework for the grounds that they're playing on.
Farveez, I'm guessing now Fazalak will probably tell the management, drop me now. Now try dropping me.
Fazalak Farooqi, as I said in the pre-show, against Sri Lanka, he has good numbers. As I've seen him many times with the new ball back in Sri Lanka, many games that he has played, he has had some damage in the top order. I mean, that would have been another reason, but the main reason would have been looking at the stat at Pune ground, which has more to the fast bowler. So, everything goes to Afghanistan's way, as Steve said. No Rahman in the last game, picks up 3 wickets, man of the match, keeps him aside. And God knows if Afghanistan wins, it's Fazalak Farooqi can be the man of the match. So what do you do there in the next game if it's another turner?
Yeah.
So, horses for courses. I like the way what Afghanistan is using their strength, using their resources. And full credit should go to Jonathan Trott, Hashmatullah Shahidi, whether they have, nicely, planned everything out against every Sri Lankan batsman.
And see, then of course there's Mujibur Rahman, who we all know what he brings to the table. But when it works beautifully because everyone around him suddenly starts amplified, and you amplify all those guys who are bowling around you as well.
It does. When you see a spinner or a mystery spinner bowl at his very best, and the man that's in the studio with us has played so much with the likes of Matai Muralitharan.
Yeah.
When you see that, Shane Warne, Matai Muralitharan, you see bowlers, Rashid Khan, Mujib, when you see them bowl at their very best, they are unbelievable to watch. It's like watching a great fast bowler. You terrorise a batter. And Mujib did that today. I thought he did. I thought he worked the angles very, very well. I thought he moved the batters around the crease. And when he went to strike, the googly that it came through, trying to think which one it was, the googly that sort of went through
slid in.
Slid in, bowled through the gate. I thought it was an absolute peach of a delivery. So I think all in all, I think you look at Mujib and Rashid Khan, the way them two bowled from a Sri Lanka perspective, when you sit back and look at it, you go, I'm disappointed because we let them bowl at us. We didn't play them as well as we probably should have and could have put pressure on them. They put pressure on us because of the way we let them bowl to us.
But based from Mujib's point of view, given a boy who's, his foundations have come in 2020 cricket, and if one of those things that really stands out in the shortest format is that you try too much, keep trying something or the other, which might not be the best case scenario when you're playing in 50 over format. So it's the best thing is when you see, go back to the basics and keep some consistency with how you're approaching it.
And that's been his strength, consistency. I've seen him play so much franchise cricket as well as international cricket. And Mujib has played so much against Sri Lanka as well, and all the top order of Sri Lanka knows Mujib in and out, as both these countries have played numerous bilateral series, but still, for some reason, the batters are quite difficult to get his variations right. So that baffles me a little, because you just have to face 1 or 2 times a bowler, then you will figure out, right, these are the strengths, these are little inputs that you can take up. But surprisingly, Sri Lanka, who has played so much cricket against Afghanistan and still struggled to pick Mujibur Rahman as well as Rashid Khan. The way Dhananjay de Silva got out to a googly of Rashid Khan, it just baffles me, because Dhananjay de Silva is one of the good players that Sri Lanka has against spin bowling. So overall, I think more than Sri Lanka batting bad, I thought Afghanistan had everything going to their side, and everything was fantastic. You look at it on screen as a past player, you just can't figure out what's going to happen, because Mujib's strength is to build up dot deliveries and create that pressure.
Yes.
Rashid Khan, 10 overs, 50 runs, you understand that, because he's hunting for wicket. On a day or two, he will go for runs, but still, it's a massive threat. So, they complement each other very well, Mujib and Rashid. And on top of it, you have a certain Mohammad Nabi, so experienced, comes and does the job whatever needed.
I have to ask you guys about Rashid Khan, because that conversation around Rashid Khan and ODI cricket it's sort of halted at the fact that people respect him too much, so you're playing him out, and thus you don't see too much of returns in the wicket columns. Today is 1 for 50 in 10 overs. I'm saying, what next now? Or has that role changed, that now your role is not to go for the wickets, put the squeeze on, so that the guy coming at the other end is going to get the wickets for the team now?
Yeah, there's a bit of both in that. You've got to try and put the squeeze on, but I think if the plan that you've got for Rashid Khan was perfect for today because of the way everybody else bowled, so the way the rest of the team bowled, you've got in a position where how you use Rashid Khan in a 20-over match. Use Rashid Khan in a 20-over match, you know, in the latter part as the big hits come in, as the accelerations come in. Now, to try and do that while you've got 10 overs to bowl is a little bit different, and I think because you've got 10 overs to face of Rashid Khan, you can maybe take a risk earlier in the game against him. You can try and work him around, you know, the inner ring without taking too many risks. But you can also then put pressure on him and build and not let him build up dot balls because you've got 10 overs to face. What happened today was they got to 33 overs. You still had 6 overs left. So as the acceleration was going on, Rashid Khan was in the business area, and I think that would be the disappointing thing for me, from Sri Lanka's point of view, on how they've faced this 50 overs, not going early enough to get Rashid Khan in earlier in the game, and left them with totally under pressure in the last sort of 15 overs.
Farveez, should we just accept the fact that Rashid Khan and 50 over cricket, that wickets column is never going to be the one thing you're going to be looking at the most?
Let me tell you one more thing. Last year, January, when I was covering an international series, I did an interview with Rashid Khan, and I asked about his bowling, and he said, you know, he's working on 3 or 4 variations more to add to his game very soon. So that was last year, February, and this about 18 months gone. And I have not seen that variations yet while watching him on TV. So that's the scary part. Is if he's working behind those 3 more or 4 more variations, imagine if he has more in his armory, bowling in ODIs where he has 60 deliveries, he's going to be lethal. So, you know, he's going to be a magnificent bowler. He's just very young still. And, you know, talking about his bowling in ODIs, I mean, I used to play with Muralidharan. What most of the opposition does against Murali is to, you know, not to take any risks, just to play him quietly. You know, our days, 10 overs, 35 was a decent score. If you're having a bad day, 10 overs, 50, 55. So that was, you know, opposition does for Murali, and then fast bowlers like us, they go after us. And whereas Rashid Khan, his game is very simple. If I'm the captain, I'll throw in the ball, saying that, all right, this is your ball, do what you do, which is pick up wickets in the middle overs. And that's what Shahidi looks into him, because he had Mohammad Nabi and Mujibur Rahman to do the containing job. And you have Rashid Khan to be attacking and try and put that pressure in the middle overs.
Farveez, then how much short do you suppose Sri Lanka are now?
Wow. It's a big number, I would say. But if you want my prediction right now, I would say either way, before the 35th over, game is over.
Whoa, not bad. So that means close to 60, 70 short.
Yeah, they're probably. Agree? Yeah, I've got 40, 50 short here. They've got to bowl them out. It's as simple as that. You've got 35 overs, 40 overs to take 10 wickets. It's as simple as that. If it goes beyond 40 overs, Afghanistan win. So lights are on, a little bit of movement, got to get the ball full, got to get the ball with some velocity in and around that sort of 6 metre mark, and risk something that they didn't do with the bat. Unfortunately for Sri Lanka, they're going to have to risk pitching up that little bit more to see if they can get some lateral movement to potentially get some wickets, to try and buy some wickets. Because if not, if they get in through first 10 overs, 15 overs, 1-2 down, they'll chase this comfortably.
Farveez, who are your go-to guys then to get those wickets?
I think 3 quicks will have a big say. I think Mahesh Theekshana will be a holdback after the 10 overs. And Dilshan Madhushanka has been in good form. He's someone that he pitches it up, swings it back. So I'm pretty sure Kusal Mendis will use him as much as possible. Kasun Raditha, naturally, he's not that full when it comes to swinging in. He likes to bowl the back of the length, but ideally, if he can pitch it up, he can swing it away as well. So I see both of them taking the new ball. And not too far away, I like to see Dushman Chamir being unleashed. He's been raring to go for a while. It's a comeback match. I'm pretty sure he wants to, go out there and give his best. So I would say first 10 to 12 overs, if Afghanistan can get away without much damage, they will walk through. But if Sri Lanka to win at least a couple of wickets in the first 10 to 12 overs, will be very, very important.
Yep, makes for an exciting power play. Farveez, Steve, thank you so much for joining us. 242 is what Afghanistan need if they are to pull off their third win of this World Cup. Just a reminder, if you haven't downloaded the ESPN Cricinfo mobile app, do download it. Scores a lot more. Scores news, views, analysis. Also follow us on our various social media handles. Commentary of this game is available to you in English, Hindi and Tamil. You were watching Maruti Suzuki Arena presents ESPN Cricinfo Matchday.
Stunning looks, then swift,